Have you ever thought about how plants get their food? You probably haven't ever seen a plant eating something the way animals eat things. But have you ever wondered how big plants grow from tiny seeds like these? What's the purpose of flowers? And how do plants create new plants? During the next few minutes, we're going to explore many of these questions and others as we investigate some of the activities of plants. This is a very unusual plant called a Venus flytrap. It has the ability to capture and digest insects. You decide. What makes the Venus flytrap different from most plants? Most plants cannot capture and digest living things, as can the Venus flytrap. Then, how do they obtain their food? Believe it or not, most plants make their own food. Photosynthesis is the process by which they do this. The process of photosynthesis is one of the most important processes on the planet. Without plants carrying out the process of photosynthesis, most life on Earth, including human life, would not exist. Let's take a closer look at the process of photosynthesis. If you were to stay outside in the sun all day without eating, would you get hungry? Of course you would. Humans cannot make food from the sun, but plants can miraculously make their own food from the sun's energy in the process of photosynthesis. How? Plants use light energy from the sun, as well as a gas called carbon dioxide, along with water to produce sugar, which plants use as food. In this process, plants give off water and a gas called oxygen. Oxygen is very important because we breathe it in and our bodies need it to work properly. Most animals also need oxygen. Plants are largely responsible for continually supplying oxygen on Earth, and this is one reason why photosynthesis is so important. Photosynthesis is a complicated process, but it can be summarized by the following statement. Plants take in carbon dioxide and water, and using light from the sun, they produce sugar and oxygen. Sugars produced by plants are very important because they're used by plant cells as food to carry out life processes. When we eat things made by plants, our bodies use sugars from those plants to help us function. Nearly everything we eat is either a food made from plants or an animal that eats plants. So as you can see, without plants and the process of photosynthesis, we would have a very hard time surviving. You decide. What's the dominant color you see from this hillside? Everywhere you look, you see shades of green. Why? This is because you are seeing leaves on trees, bushes, and grasses. The green parts of plants are the sites where photosynthesis occurs. What makes leaves green? Inside the plant cells of a leaf are small green structures called chloroplasts. They're the food-making factories of plants. Chloroplasts contain a green substance called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll plays an important role in capturing light from the sun, and chlorophyll is what gives leaves their green color. Think about all the different kinds of flowers you've seen. Flowers come in many different shapes, sizes, and colors. But have you ever thought about why plants produce flowers? Flowers play a very important role in plant reproduction. Flowers exist to make seeds, which eventually grow into new plants. About 8 out of 10 green plants produce flowers. That means there are over 250,000 different kinds of flowering plants in the world. Flowers contain a variety of parts, and not all flowers have all parts. When you think of flowers, you usually think of beautiful colors. The colorful parts of the flower are called petals. At the base of the petals are green leaf-like structures called sepals. Sepals help protect the flower as it's developing. Inside this lily flower are several small stalks called stamens. Stamens are the male reproductive parts. This small capsule at the top of the stamen is the anther. It produces pollen grains. Located in the middle of the stamens is the female reproductive part called the pistil. You decide. What do this bee and this butterfly have in common? All of these animals are pollinators. Pollinators are animals that help plants in the process of pollination. What is pollination? Pollination is the process of pollen moving from the male part of a flower to the female part of a flower. Animals such as insects and birds, as well as wind, help move pollen within a flower or from one flower to another in the process of pollination. When a pollen grain touches the sticky top of a pistil, called the stigma, it forms a tube through which male sex cells travel downward into the ovary. Inside the ovary, an egg is then fertilized. The process of fertilization is the combining of male and female sex cells. After fertilization, the egg develops into a seed in one of the most amazing processes found on the planet. Next time you gulp down a handful of peanuts or eat some sunflower seeds, think about the fact that seeds are actually fertilized eggs. Seeds contain all of the material necessary to sprout a new plant. We eat many seeds without realizing it. When we eat strawberries, seeds are inside the strawberry, and blueberries contain blueberry seeds. This is because the seeds are encased within a fruit. A fruit is the ripened ovary that surrounds a seed. The watermelon is a large fruit that contains dozens of seeds. Once a seed has fully developed, it's ready to produce a new plant. But first, the seed must move to a place where it can sprout. This process is called seed dispersal. Wind often disperses seeds, as do animals such as birds, which may carry seeds great distances. Once a seed is dispersed, the correct ingredients are required for germination. Germination is the process of a seed sprouting into a plant. In order for a seed to germinate, it needs water and warm temperatures. If all of these things occur, a new plant is born. Over time, young seedlings grow into mature plants. To successfully reach maturity, plants need adequate water, air, the correct temperature, and light to make food. During the past few minutes, we've explored many of the amazing activities of plants. We took a look at the process of photosynthesis, in which plants take in carbon dioxide and water and use the sun's energy to produce sugar and oxygen. And we saw how most living things, including humans, depend on plants for their survival. We also took a quick look at how the majority of plants use flowers to reproduce, and the different ways pollination can occur. And we also discussed the life cycle of flowering plants, from development and germination of seeds to the growth of plants to maturity. So the next time you see a green leaf or notice a bee pollinating a flower, think about some of the things we discussed during the past few minutes. You just might look at the activities of plants a little differently. Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Good luck, and let's get started. Number 1. Plants produce a gas called. Number 2. Plants make for food. Number 3. The role of flowers is to make. Number 4. Is the process of pollen moving from stamen to pistil. And number 5. Is the process of a seed sprouting into a plant.